Hello all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sai Kiran. In today's session, I am going to address some of the questions asked by our subscribers and some of our friends who reach me on LinkedIn and ask me how to become a cloud engineer or how to become a platform engineer or how to become a DevOps engineer or SRE, some stuff like that. All right. So before jumping onto the things, I would request you to spend at least 3 to 4 hours per day, guys, because 1 hour is for learning and rest of the hours is for the practicing, regardless of any shift you are in. Firstly, I want to discuss about this shifts itself only. There are some of our friends who are working in different shifts like EMEA shift, APAC shift, and then OIM shift. Let's try to break down the shifts first. How much time an EMEA guy can spend on learnings and doing the practicals, and how much time can NOAM shift or APAC shift guys can spend on learnings and then doing practicals. Back in time, when I was working in Wipro, I was also a support guy. My day starts with two big monitors, and then I used to copy all the right side monitor commands to the left side, and that's my job. So I will tell you exactly how much time you need to spend and what was the exact process. If you jump directly onto the DevOps, again you're going to waste the time, and then you will come back and learn some cloud, and then you will move to the DevOps again. So let's not do all these small mistakes. I will tell you for the next 45 to 60 days of plan exactly, because in 2025 we are going to get a good startup companies in India, so there might be a huge or bulk opening. So let's target for the 2025. All right. If you wanted to place in March, because if the project comes in March, they will start hiring from the December ending or January itself only. All right. So make sure, again and again I'm saying, try to spend at least 3 to 4 hours disciplinedly. Then you can easily crack the interview, guys. Also, if you are spending 3 to 4 hours on practicals, you don't need to rely on any of the 1,000 or 500 interview questions. You can simply go and sit in front of the interviewer and then you can answer the questions if you're doing the practicals, I'm saying. All right. So as I said before, I just wanted to break the shift timings first. Once that part is done, then there are four steps what we need to do and how much hours we need to spend on a particular playlist, and all this stuff we are going to discuss each and everything. All right. So let me share my screen first, guys. Then we can discuss each and everything. So as I said, first let's break down the shifts. All right. So the very first shift what we do have, which is APAC, guys. This will start somewhere around 5:30 a.m. or this will start somewhere around 6 a.m., right? And it will end at when? It will end at 3:30 p.m. or 4 p.m., let's say. All right. And there is an another shift which is EMEA. This is one of the worst shift, I would say, because the whole day will be gone in this shift. So this will start somewhere around 12 p.m. or 2 p.m. if I'm not wrong, and it will end somewhere at 12 p.m. Correct? Cabs and everything, getting into cabs, starting the cabs. Honestly, it will take 12:31 p.m. to reach home. And the one of the best shift which I like so much, this is NOAM. Starts at when? 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. and it's going to end at 7 a.m. in the morning. In this shift, if anyone is having this shift, they are so lucky, because we'll be having a huge time to do the practicals and then learnings also. All right. So let's break this down. If anyone is falling under this APAC shift, see, if you're logging in at 5:30 a.m. or if you're logging in at 6 a.m., definitely 3:30 p.m. it's not going to complete. The reason is we'll be having a very good handovers. We need to give the handovers to a different region people, or we are going to give handovers to the EMEA people who are logging in at afternoon, right? Whatever task we are working on. So if anyone is working in this APAC shift, once after they log off, definitely they are going to get a very good sleep, right? Don't ignore the sleep. Sleep as much as time you want. Just cover all your things before 8 p.m. itself only, guys. Cover everything before 8 p.m. itself only, hanging out with friends and going out and all this stuff till 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Strictly follow the rule that you need to watch 1 hour of video. I'll tell you what to watch and what not to watch, and then 2 hours of practice. See, if you are practicing, the advantage of practicing is even if you're from the support background, even if you're from the different background, whatever practicals I have posted on YouTube, I can confidently tell that you can easily show 3 to 4 years of experience as a DevOps engineer, regardless of 10 years of experience, like 15 years of experience or 7 years experience you do have. For the past 3 to 4 years you can easily show 3 to 4 years of DevOps experience if you watch and do the practicals whatever I've did. All right, because in my experience I did somewhere around 45 tasks on AWS, but I filtered all the tasks and then I made it as 39 tasks which I posted already on YouTube. All right, so 1 hour is for learning, I mean 1 hour is for watching, and 2 hours is for practice, guys. The term I mentioned this practice again and again. Please don't get bored. If you want 20 lakh LPA, you should spend much time on practice. If you don't want to read 500 questions of interview bundles, you should do practice, because if you're doing the practice, easily you can go and sit in front of the interview or in front of the laptop and face the interview, regardless of situational based questions, regardless of what questions or basic questions and all this stuff, right? So if anyone is falling under this APAC shift, try to spend at least 3 hours, 8 p.m. to and then 11 p.m. Here some intelligent people might be asking me again in on LinkedIn, Sai, you said 8 p.m. to 11 p.m., then when we should sleep? See, if you want this package, you should sleep only for 5 to 6 hours until and unless you get this. If you don't want this package and if you want only DevOps engineer job, then it's up to you again. But if you ask me, I would like to request you to target for this one itself only. All right, so again, don't get confused here. Sai, my current salary is 3.5 only, how would I get 20 LPA? Maintain counter offers. That's the only thing, that's the only game, if you ask me. All right, and there is another shift which is EMEA. This is EMEA. Okay, this will start at 12 p.m. and this will end at 2 p.m. I mean, this will start at 2 p.m. or 12 p.m. and it will end at 12 p.m. guys, this is honestly one of the worst shift. I would request you guys to sleep at least for 6 to 7 hours, and then morning, if you're going to gym or if you are having any kind of workout plan, something like that, complete everything by 9 a.m. and spend at least 3 hours here to 11 a.m., 1 hour for watching again, and then 2 hour for practice. All right, you cannot ignore this, guys. You cannot ignore this practicals, because the reason why I mentioned 2 hours is 2 hours is heavy again. Whatever practicals I did, it's less than 34 minutes, hardly, or 45 minutes. So easily, if you watch the video in 1 hour again and again 2 times, and you can easily do the practicals within 2 hours itself. All right, on a soft note, please don't worry about the AWS bills, guys. Please, if you are getting more bills, mark yourself that you are doing very good practicals. All right, if you go out with your friends, if you hang out with your friends, you are ready to pay 5,000, 10,000 bill, and you are not ready to buy one GoDaddy domain which is 167 rupees. How it is possible? It's not possible, right? So please try to cover the AWS bill. Don't worry about the AWS bill. It's going to hardly. See, I will tell you one small trick here. Let's say, for example, this month you got a bill of somewhere around $60. Okay, wait for 2 or 3 days after you're doing the payment. Don't ignore the payment, do the payment and apply for AWS 300 credits. This 300 credits, the whole AWS videos, whatever I posted on YouTube, all those were covered on this $300 video itself, $300 itself only. And still it is there, still somewhere around 25 and $50 were left. So don't ignore this payment, just do this payment and apply for AWS 300 credits. These credits will be useful for you on Docker learnings, and also on Kubernetes learnings, and also on AWS learnings itself also. Mine has been $300 has been exceeded, because I have to do the testing in my personal laptop, and then I have to record a video, and then I have to show you. So for that, multiple times I used to create instances. So for that reasons, it has been exceeded. Else it will be hardly like 100 or 120 or $150. That's all. All right, so don't, please don't worry about the bills was common. If you're terminating each and everything once after the creation, apart from the VPC components, then you're not going to get any kind of huge bills or any spikes. All right, next, there is a very good shift which is NoAM. I love this shift. If anyone is falling on NoAM, sleep as much as time you want, guys, because this shift is not good for health, but still. And then once you got up, make sure that you're spending at least 4 to 5 hours. You do have 4 to 5 hours of time definitely, because your shift will start at 10 p.m. or if your shift will start at 9 p.m. Easily you can spend 4 to 5 hours. In this way, what will happen is you're going to cover the topic soon and you can jump on to the next topics. All right, so I hope everyone has been understood whatever I have discussed here. I'm going to clear the screen, just allow me 2 minutes. And then now let's discuss about the technical part, what to learn and what was the exact flow to become a DevOps, cloud, or platform engineer, and we'll proceed accordingly. Like I'm going to keep everything here. So I would request you to start with Linux, guys. Basically, so when I started learning AWS, honestly, I'm telling, I didn't even know anything about Linux. I didn't even know what is C in the CD. All right, when watching the AWS documents, many people doesn't know that AWS have fantastic documents, like step by step documents. So when I used to go through these documents, I used to stop there and I used to Google what is C in CD and what is D and what is, like, mkdir. Simultaneously, I used to open Google and then I used to check what were this exact commands. So in that way, I have learned Linux. And again, I don't suggest everyone to follow this path itself only. So keeping such things in mind, learn Linux very well. You'll be having a lot of basic videos, like 2 hour videos or 1 hour videos will be there on YouTube. Please go through any one of the video and try to complete this. If you ask me, I don't suggest you to, like, put efforts on Linux on mastering level. I will tell you the reason why. We are not NOC engineers, guys, or we are not Linux admins, right? You should be able to read and understand the code. You should be able to understand, like, read and understand the script based on the requirements, whatever your developer or whatever your Jira task have. You should do some modifications and then you have to work accordingly. This level of understanding is enough. So please don't take me in a wrong way. As far as I believe, with my experience, I'm saying, if you are able to read the script and if you are able to understand the script, that is honestly more than enough. All right, so once this Linux part has been completed, the next step is, I'll write this as one, the next step is AWS, guys. Or if you're not good at AWS or any cloud, your wish. See, honestly, in real time, we don't require EC2s. We don't require VPCs. If you're having good knowledge on AWS VPC, AWS EC2 instances, it will never ever help you in real time. No one will be asking you to create EC2 instance, right? So if you are good at creating EC2 instances, VPCs, subnets, security groups, and creating S3 buckets and doing all these things, and if you believe yourself that you're good at AWS, I'm sorry, guys, you have to skill up a lot. On what level you have to skill up a lot? I will share my screen once. At least here, you should be able to understand 15 to 20 services, right? I did somewhere around 39 tasks on 34 services. So if you wanted to master this, then you can, I'll open my playlist once. See, here is the playlist. IP addressing, VPC, till here it is common, guys. You might be knowing VPC and then VPC peering, but we also do have flow logs, we also do have endpoints. These are not just theoretical explanations, these are practical things also. There are a lot of practical stuff here. All right, so when doing this AWS sessions or when doing this AWS practicals, I would suggest you to buy one .xyz domain, because that domain name will be useful for you in AWS also. Also it will be useful in Kubernetes also. In Kubernetes we are going to deploy a kops, I mean kops cluster, Kubernetes cluster. There we need one domain name, right? So try to buy it, guys. It's very cheap. Don't think about the money. And NAT gateway, transit gateway, we know this already, like basic stuff. If anyone doesn't know, you can go through all these playlists. Again, I'm saying all these were practical stuff itself only, not just theoretical stuff. When it comes to the network load balancer and the application load balancer, these were not just normal videos where you're going to see everywhere. In real time, we'll be keeping everything in the private subnets itself only, no public subnets. So I have kept everything in private, and I have also created simple notification service along with the route 53, because we are not going to access our application with the load balancer DNS here. Instead, we are going to associate with one of our route 53 domain name. So that's the reason why I'm asking you to buy a domain name. All right. And auto scaling groups, here also we are going to use launch templates, we are going to use AMIs. We do have one HashiCorp Packer AMI, see here. So in real time, you're not going to create the instances again and again. Instead, what you will do is you are going to uh, uh, install all the packages whatever there is on the instance, and then you are going to create one private AMI image. You're going to use that image, and then you're going to deploy the instance. All right. So that was done with the HashiCorp Packer. And also in auto scaling groups, I have enabled alarms. I have enabled CloudWatch logs. I have enabled simple notification services, load balancers, and all this stuff. All right. So you can also do this and watch this and do the practicals. See, route 53 routing policies, we do have multiple policies like standard, geolocation, weighted latency, and all this stuff. I have explained and did practicals on each and everything using that domain name itself. Whatever you're going to see on the real time, I have did it in the realistic way. And IAM policies, we know, IAM roles, we know. This role switching, this active directory is one of the fantastic topic I love, because in real time, regardless of you are a DevOps engineer or a cloud engineer, if you're getting in a task on active directory, you have to work, guys. There is no option. You're not going to give access to any of the developers or some other via this IAM roles or policies. No, you are going to give access from the SSO, single sign on. This has been previously called as single sign on. Now this has been called as IAM identity center. And you are going to integrate this active directory with one of your single sign on. We are going to use some directory services here. So try to do the practical. See, so much of real time stuff I have posted here. If you are wasting money on someone who teaches nothing, it's waste of money, guys. It's your see, money we can earn later, but you are wasting your time. That is important, that is more than a money. So try to watch each and everything and do the practicals. Even if you go for the paid sessions, they will not be explaining you this much of stuff, trust me. All right. So this is all about AWS. Learn at least 15 to 20 services, not just VPCs, and then not just EC2s and all this stuff. We don't require that. So once this has been completed, then jump on to the third part, which is DevOps or DevSecOps. Many people have a confusion between this DevOps and DevSecOps. Don't just confuse, guys. The tradition was same in the DevOps and DevSecOps also, but the only difference is here we are going to have a security implementation a lot in the DevSecOps strategies. All right. In DevOps or in DevSecOps, you cannot ignore six tools. You cannot ignore six tools. I will tell you one after one what exactly were those. The very first tool is Git. Okay. In real time, at least daily, more than 3 or 4 times you are going to use this Git, guys, because your developer might gonna ask you to do some changes on the Terraform modules existing repository, and then they are going to ask you to raise a PR pull request, or they are going to ask you to raise a MR, which is merge request. All right. You can do it this from the console, but still you should be knowing how to do it from the CLI also, in a command line. Along with this, the next another important tool is Docker, right? And the third important tool is Terraform, guys. See, the reason why I ask you to watch AWS first is before after the Linux. Let's say, for example, you get a Jira task to create a RDS module, RDS Terraform module. Writing Terraform code from the scratch is very easy, but doing changes to the code from the existing repository stuff. That's where the real Terraform engineer comes out. Okay, so when you get a task to create a Terraform modules on RDS, you don't know what is burstable class. First of all, you don't know what is endpoints, and you don't know, like, what versions were there on this RDS latest versions. And, like, multi instance or single instance, you doesn't know anything, because all those things will be covered on this AWS itself only. So if you're not watching the AWS first, and if you're directly jumping onto the DevOps or DevSecOps, and if you get a task to create an RDS module with the help of Terraform, you will write the provider block, and then after that you have to write whatever is required for the resources, and, like, arguments and all this stuff for this RDS. How you will write? Because you don't know anything, you don't know how to create the RDS manually first from the AWS, and then you're trying to see. Even if you watch the documentation also, there will be steps, but you do not know, like, where to start implementing and all these things. All right, so for that reasons, try to cover the AWS first, understand the gist of the AWS of services, how we can able to create and all these things. Then you can able to automate with the help of Terraform here. Got it? And also, on a soft note, in Terraform, if you are good at creating EC2 instances, if you are very good at creating VPCs and subnets, not really required, guys, it's zero. If you are good at creating only those, don't take me wrong or harsh, in real time we are nothing, honestly I'm saying. Because in real time, no one will be asking you to create EC2 instances and VPCs, they will be asking you to write the Terraform modules. Modules is very important topic. I posted a 7 hours of Terraform video, like modules were also covered, and I will show you that. Here is the DevSecOps playlist. So I've posted each and everything, and the links and all, you can go inside the folder and you will find it. All right, modules was covered, functions was covered, two modules have been covered, and then, like, I have implemented Vault, HashiCorp Vault with the Terraform also. So please try to watch that. Once this Terraform has been completed, then we do have something called Ansible. Again, I'm not purely an Ansible person, but I'll tell you a small real time task. You're not going to get a task on Ansible alone. You are going to work along with the Terraform and then Ansible integration. All right, not just alone, not just Ansible alone. You're going to work on both Ansible and then Terraform integrations, guys. Again, when teaching Ansible on the YouTube playlist, I have integrated this Terraform and then Ansible also. See, with Terraform, you can create the infra. The advantage of Terraform is you can create the infra. If you wanted to install any Docker or any other tools, you can pass each and everything in the user data. All right, let's say there is a task to create a Docker Swarm cluster, and it does have somewhere around 6 nodes, and you wanted to nominate 2 as master and 4 as worker. Do you think this job will be done by Terraform? 100% no, it's not going to do. This job will be done by Ansible. So that's why we required Ansible plus Terraform integration. I have explained a 3 hours of Ansible and Terraform integration. You can go and watch that video also in the playlist. All right, so once the Ansible has been completed, any one of the CI/CD tool. Next, I am planning to, on Jan 6, I'm planning to start Jenkins. So hopefully, if everything goes good, then we can start Jenkins as well from the Jan 6. Okay, so you can watch Jenkins, or you can watch any videos on GitLab is also happening tool right now, or Circle CI, or like any one of the tool, guys. Either learn Jenkins or Azure DevOps is also good. If you are understanding the Jenkins and then Azure DevOps as well, then you can handle any CI/CD tools. Even if in the interview, if they are using some different tools like Circle CI or something, then you can tell them, see, given a sprint time, I can definitely overcome with these tools, because I'm good at this Jenkins and then Azure DevOps. Or if GitLab also we can handle, if you are aware of this Jenkins and then Azure DevOps. All right, so How many tools were there in DevOps or DevSecOps? The very first one is Git, second one is Docker, third one is Terraform, fourth one is Ansible, fifth one is CI/CD tool, any one of it, and the very sixth one is any one of the monitoring tool, guys. Any one of the monitoring tool, it's your wish again. If you ask me, I would like to suggest you to go with ELK stack based on your requirement, because I've seen many of them were onto ELK stack right now. Or you can also go with the Prometheus again. If you're good at Prometheus and if you doesn't know ELK stack, I did a video on ELK stack where deploying the multiple containers and monitored everything with this ELK stack. We need to implement some log aggregators like Filebeat, Heartbeat, and all those stuff. I have explained each and everything on the Docker playlist itself. All right. So if you are good with Prometheus and if you doesn't know anything on the ELK stack, it's totally fine. Again, in interview, if they are asking, tell them I'm good with Prometheus. Given a sprint time or given an opportunity, I will try to learn this ELK stack as quick as possible. All right. So whatever we have discussed till now, the very first one is Linux, and the second one is AWS or any one of the cloud, and the third one is DevOps or DevSecOps. Now comes the important thing, which is Kubernetes, guys, the fourth one. See, whatever I'm mentioning now, if you are spending 3 to 4 hours, enough, you can cover easily. So in Kubernetes, again, don't concentrate much on how to deploy cluster with kubeadm or cops. Don't, guys, please. I've been seeing many messages on LinkedIn asking me to show how to deploy with the cube and cops. In real time, you're not going to do this, guys. Honestly, in real time, once you get onto the floor, everything will be deployed already. This cluster and whatever is there, it will be deployed. You will be getting a task. For example, let's say there is a namespace called continuous watching. Okay. So here one of the developer doesn't have the access to get into the namespace and whatever is there. In such way, you're going to get a zero task asking a developer, that asking you to add the user to this particular namespace. You should be working on that level. Okay. Or monthly EK upgrades will be there. See, for now 1.30 is the latest version. You have to maintain n minus 1. Okay, for example, if you're at 1.29, you should be doing the upgrade from 1.29 to 1.30 once 1.31 release has been released. So you should be able to learn this compatibility matrix, and then you should know how to do the cluster upgrades. Okay. And also there will be some important components like PCI components and all this stuff. You should be understanding how you can able to do the upgrades of these. Okay. This level of understanding is required. Don't concentrate on how to deploy it with cops, how to deploy it with the kubeadm and all these things. No, it will be already deployed. You don't need to worry about anything. All right. And in Kubernetes also, I have explained 16 tasks. Those 16 tasks were honestly not like just showing on minikube or something. I have deployed each and everything on the multi-node cluster, guys, not just single node cluster. Multi-node cluster in the sense, I have deployed 4 EC2 instances, and I've marked one as master node and then 3 as worker nodes. So I've explained all these things on those 4 node cluster itself only. And many people might be having a doubt stating that, Sai, that you have explained all the Kubernetes on COPS. You have not explained on EKs. See, COPS is something which is self-hosted, like management. Everything will be done by ourselves only. EKS is something which master nodes will be managed by the cloud provider. I will tell you a small trick here. If you are stressing yourself on this self-hosted cluster, the advantage is you are responsible for maintaining master node and you are responsible for maintaining worker node, and you will feel that head pressure when doing the practicals. And when going to the real time, obviously many organizations have been migrated to the EKS now. So master node, you don't need to worry about it because your cloud provider is going to take in care. You are going to concentrate only on the worker node part. So when doing the practicals, if you concentrate more on the scopes and creating the cluster, then you will feel that pressure of handling both the nodes, master and then worker. Then you can learn a lot of things. Got it? So I hope everyone has been understand the roadmap, guys. I will again mention it clearly here, step by step. What was the very first thing we have discussed? The very first thing is Linux. So once this has been done, the second thing is AWS or any of the cloud, and the third thing is you have to learn DevOps or DevSecOps, and the fourth thing is Kubernetes. If you do have time, learn at least one language like Python or Golang or something. I'm not a developer. I'm not good at this programming languages, but if someone asks you to do some changes, I can do it. Again, I'm not a developer, it's not my cup of tea, honestly. So you have to read the code, you have to understand, you have to know where you have to do the modifications and all these things. All right. See, there are a lot of tools here. Don't just confuse or don't just scared that DevOps is so tough, I cannot learn all these things. You can easily do it, guys, because once you go on to the real time, no one is going to give you all the tools to work here. They'll be keeping you in either in Terraform or CI/CD. They'll be keeping you either in CI/CD part or configuration part or infrastructure provisioning part, or for example there are multiple teams like X team, Y team, Z team. Our infra is so high, so like so many teams were there, total 6 teams were there. And if these teams something to provision with the Terraform, so what your project manager will do is, or scrum manager or platform owner, he will be keeping you as an SME to this team. You need to take care of this Terraform task itself only. All right. And then if another person is there, and then he need to take care of the CI/CD part. If they wanted to build something and deploy into the production or pre-prod environment, the CI/CD task they will be assigning some person here. And same like this, 1 2 persons will be assigned here, 1 2 persons will be assigned here. Daily we will be having like every week we'll be having like fortnight plan call. So in that plan we are going to discuss, we are going to ask them if there were any tasks on this particular team, and then we are going to ask them if there were tasks with this particular team, and this guy is going to take in care of all those tasks. Okay. But in interview they'll be asking 1 million questions in just 45 minutes. It doesn't mean that they are going to keep all the pressure on you. You will be spread across multiple teams. So so try to master one or two tools very well. Apart from that, learn the other tools also. In interview they just wanted to check your caliber, whether this guy, if I'm moving this guy to the any other project in future, can he sustain, can he do the things, can he give the productivity. So in such way they are going to think. So keeping such things in mind, prepare, guys. All the very best, and advance happy Christmas and happy new year to everyone. Make sure that you are spending at least 3 to 4 hours per day. If you spend 3 to 4 hours per day, trust me, you can see yourself in a very good place. Easily you can get 20 LPA, regardless of how much salary you're getting. It doesn't matter. If you have counter offers, easily you can achieve this figure, 20 LPA. All right. I hope you understand. We'll see you on Jan 6. Meanwhile, I'm going to post some of the interview questions and all these things on YouTube and then LinkedIn. That's all, guys. We'll see you again. Have a nice day. Bye bye.